My ex, Mom whispered. Can we go somewhere alone? I said no. An hour later, my ex called me crying from outside my house. I did, to expect to see her again, not after the way things ended with Alina. It had been 6 months since my ex walked out of my apartment with 2 suitcases and a silence that felt heavier than any argument we'd ever had. No screaming, no dramatic scene, just a quiet, I think we want different futures, and the soft click of my door closing behind her. I told myself I was fine. I buried myself in work, stayed late at the office, hit the gym harder than usual, pretended that every quiet evening did. To echo with memories of her laugh. I deleted pictures, muted her on social media, tried to erase her from the corners of my life. What I did to expect was that the first person from her world I'd run into would be her. It was her mother. I was at a small art gallery downtown on a Friday evening. A coworker had invited me to support his photography exhibit. The place smelled faintly of fresh paint and wine. Soft jazz played in the background, and people in black turtlenecks nodded thoughtfully at framed landscapes as if the trees inside them were whispering secrets. I was halfway through a plastic cup of red wine when I heard a familiar voice. Daniel? I froze. There are some voices that bypass your ears and hit your chest directly. This was one of them. I turned slowly. She stood there, elegant as ever. Tall, poised, wearing a deep blue dress that hugged her frame without trying too hard. Her hair, streaked with subtle silver, fell perfectly over her shoulders. She looked almost exactly as I remembered, confident, observant, slightly intimidating. Mrs. Rahman. Alina's mother. For a second, I considered pretending I hadn't heard her, but it was too late. Our eyes met. Miss Rahman, I managed, forcing a polite smile. I did expect to see you here. I could say the same, she replied, stepping closer. Her perfume was soft and familiar, something floral with a hint of spice. I remembered smelling it at family dinners, holidays, birthdays, back when I was almost part of that family. How have you been? She asked. It was such a simple question, yet it felt loaded. I've been good, I said. Busy. Work's been crazy. She studied my face carefully, like she was reading between the lines. She had always had that ability. During my relationship with Alina, I often felt like her mother understood me more than I understood myself. And Alina? I asked, immediately regretting it. She is fine, Mrs. Rahman said. Her voice was neutral. She moved to Dubai last month. New job, new start. Dubai. That stung more than I expected. Oh, I said quietly. That is great for her. Silence settled between us, thick and awkward. We moved to a quieter corner near a large abstract painting that looked like someone had thrown emotions onto canvas. People passed by, murmuring softly. The world kept moving, but I felt stuck in place. You look thinner, she said suddenly. I laughed lightly. Jim, or heartbreak? Her directness caught me off guard. I shrugged. I guess a little of both. She did smile. Instead, she took a slow sip of her wine and looked at me in a way that made my pulse shift slightly, not inappropriate, not exactly, but intense. Daniel, she said softly, can we go someplace alone? The words hit me like a cold splash of water. What? I blinked. Just somewhere quieter, she clarified. There's a cafe across the street. I'd like to talk. Every alarm bell in my head went off at once. Go someplace alone. With my ex's mother. I suddenly became hyper-aware of how this might look, how it might feel. Of boundaries. Of unspoken lines. I don't think that. It's a good idea, I said carefully. Her expression did change, but something flickered in her eyes. Surprise? Disappointment? Why not? She asked calmly. It is just, I don't want to make things complicated. Complicated for whom? For everyone, I said. For you, for me, for Alina. She held my gaze for a long moment. Alina does have to know, she said quietly. That made my stomach tighten. It was what she said, it was how she said it. Casual. Measured. I am sorry, I replied, taking a small step back. I respect you, I really do, but I think it It's better if we keep things appropriate. Her jaw tightened slightly. You think I'm being inappropriate? No, I said quickly. I just think it's better if we don't blur lines. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she surprised me. She laughed. Not mockingly, not bitterly, just a soft, almost impressed laugh. You always did have strong boundaries, she said. I try. She studied me again, and this time her gaze softened. You know, she said slowly, I never blamed you. For what? For the breakup. That wasn't what I expected. I felt a strange mix of relief and confusion. It wasn't really about blame. She told me you wanted to settle down. She wasn't ready. Mrs. Rahman, his voice was thoughtful. You were the stable one. The word stable echoed in my mind. Was that all I had been? I just wanted something real, I said quietly. And you think my daughter isn't real? That is not what I meant. I know, she sighed. She's always been restless, even as a child. There was something different in her tone now, less sharp, more vulnerable. Daniel, she said again, more gently this time. I did ask you to go somewhere alone because I have some scandalous intention. My face warmed slightly. I asked because there are things you deserve to know. That caught my attention. What things? She glanced around the gallery, then back at me. Not here. The tension returned. I hesitated. Curiosity can be dangerous, especially when it is wrapped in unfinished feelings. I really don't think she is engaged. The words cut through my sentence like glass. What? To someone she met in Dubai. My mind went blank. Engaged. 6 months, and she was engaged. I swallowed hard. That was fast. Yes, Mrs. Rand said quietly. It was. I didn't know what to feel. Anger, hurt, emptiness. Mostly I felt stupid. I had spent months replaying conversations, wondering if I could have said something different, done something better. Meanwhile, she was building a new life. She did tell you? Mrs. Rahman asked. I shook my head. She said she would, her mother murmured. A strange bitterness crept into my chest. Well, I said, forcing composure. I guess that is her choice. Mrs. Rahman watched me closely. You deserve honesty. So do you, I replied before I could stop myself. She raised an eyebrow. You asked me to go somewhere alone, and you said she does have to know. The air between us shifted again. For the first time, she looked slightly unsettled. I shouldn't have said that, she admitted. Why did you? She hesitated. Because I've been watching you for 3 years, Daniel. That one's the direction I expected. You treated my daughter with patience, with loyalty. You supported her dreams. You stood by her during her worst moments. I did, respond. And when she left, Mrs. Rahman continued, you did create drama. You did attack her publicly. You did try to destroy her. I loved her, I said simply. Yes, she replied, you did. Her eyes held mine in a way that felt heavy with something unsaid. Sometimes, she said slowly, we don't realize the value of what we had until it's gone. Are you talking about her? I asked. I'm talking about both of you. I exhaled slowly. I appreciate you telling me about the engagement, I said. But I think that is where this conversation should end. She looked disappointed but not surprised. You're really not curious? She asked softly. About what? About why I am here, why I wanted to talk alone. I held her gaze steadily this time. Curiosity isn't always worth the consequences. For a long moment, she simply stared at me. Then she nodded. You've grown, she said quietly. Pain does that. A faint smile touched her lips. I want to push, she said. But if you ever change your mind, she reached into her clutch and pulled out a small card, her personal number. Not the family line, not the house, just hers. She extended it toward me. I looked at it, then at her, and I shook my head. I think it is better if we leave things in the past, Her hand lingered in the air for a second before she slowly withdrew it. "Very well," she said softly. We stood there in silence, two people connected by a relationship that no longer existed. "I hope you find someone who sees your worth," she added. "I hope Alina finds what she is looking for," I replied. She gave me one last searching look, as if trying to memorize my face. Then she turned and walked away, blending into the crowd of strangers and paintings. I stood there for a long time after she left. Engaged. The word echoed in my head. I told myself I had done the right thing, that I had protected boundaries, that I had avoided a mess I didn't need. But as I stepped out into the cool night air, I could shake the feeling that I had just walked away from more of that conversation. I had walked away from answers, and maybe from a truth I wasn't ready to hear. That night my phone buzzed at 1:17 a.m. Unknown number. I stared at it for a long time before answering. "Hello," a familiar voice whispered on the other end. "Daniel?" My heart stopped. It was her mother. It was Alina. And she did sound engaged. She sounded scared. "Alina?" For a second, I thought I was dreaming. The room was dark except for the faint glow of my bedside lamp. My phone screen illuminated her name, no caller ID, just an international number. Dubai code. "Daniel." Her voice trembled slightly. "I did know if you'd answer." I sat up slowly, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. 6 months of silence, 6 months of pretending I was moving on. "You're engaged," I said before I could stop myself. There was a pause. "My mom told you." She mentioned it. Another silence, this one heavier. "It is not what you think," Alina said quietly. I let out a bitter laugh. "It's exactly what I think. You left. You moved countries. You found someone else. You don't understand." "Then help me understand." I did mean for my voice to sound sharp, but it did. On the other end, I heard her exhale shakily. "I did call to fight," she whispered. "I called because I don't know who else to talk to." That caught me off guard. "Your fiancé?" I asked. Another pause, longer this time. "I am not marrying him." My chest tightened. "What?" "The engagement isn't real." I leaned back against the headboard, trying to process her words. "Your mom said." "She thinks it is," Alina interrupted. "Everyone thinks it is." Cold confusion spread through me. "Why would you fake something like that?" "I did fake it," she said quickly. "It just got out of control." "That does explain anything." I heard movement on her end. Maybe she was pacing. She used to pace whenever she was overwhelmed. "I came to Dubai for a marketing position," she began. "The company is owned by this investor Omar. He is influential, powerful, connected. And he took an interest in me." My jaw tightened. "What kind of interest?" "Professional at first," she said softly. "Mentorship, networking opportunities, then dinners, events. Meetings that didn't feel like meetings. I did like where this was going." "Did he pressure you?" I asked. "Not directly." That was reassuring. But he made it clear that being close to him would accelerate my career, and pulling away would slow things down. I closed my eyes for a moment. "So you said yes." "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" Her voice cracked slightly. "It was like drowning and someone offering you a hand, except the hand has strings attached." The room felt smaller. "I thought I could manage it," she continued. "I thought I could keep control. But then people started talking. Photos were taken at events. Blogs posted rumors. Suddenly we were the new power couple. And instead of denying it, he did The realization hit me. He let it spread. Yes. And you." I was scared. Of course she was. Alina had always been ambitious, restless, hungry for something bigger. But she also hated confrontation. She avoided conflict until it cornered her. "So when did it become an engagement?" I asked coyly. A charity gala, she whispered. He made a speech, called me his future. My stomach dropped, and you just stood there. I froze. Anger flared in my chest, but it wasn't to the explosive kind. It was the quiet, protective kind. Why did you walk away? Because I'd already signed a 3-year contract, she said. And there are clauses, Daniel, legal ones. Are you telling me you were trapped? I'm telling you it's not simple. I ran a hand through my hair. And your mom. She only knows what she sees online, so you let her believe you are in love. She is proud, Alina whispered. She thinks I've finally found someone worthy. Someone stable, powerful. The irony almost made me laugh. Stable, I repeated. Don, she said softly. Please. We sat in silence for a moment, connected by thousands of miles and years of unfinished emotions. Why are you telling me this? I asked finally. Another long pause, because when I saw you tonight, you saw me. Yes. My heart skipped. You were at the gallery? I did go inside, she admitted. I was in the car. I had just landed for a quick visit. I saw you through the window, talking to my mom. Everything inside me shifted. You were here? Yes. Why didn't you come in? I didn't know if you'd look at me the way you used to. Her vulnerability disarmed me. And when you refused to go somewhere alone with her, she continued, she called me. Of course she did. She told me you still have integrity. Alina said quietly. That you set boundaries. That you did, to even take her number. I frowned. She told you that? Yes. Something about that detail unsettled me. She sounded impressed. Alina added. That same flicker I saw in her mother, as eyes came back to mind. Alina, I said slowly, why did your mom want to talk alone? Silence. Alina, I think she wanted to test you. Test me? She always believed you were the safer choice. The words landed heavily. Safer, I repeated. She thinks I made a mistake, Alina whispered. And you? The question hung between us. Do you think you made a mistake? Her breathing grew uneven. I didn't to know anymore. I closed my eyes again. 6 months ago, she was certain we wanted different futures. Now she sounded like someone standing at a crossroads, unsure which road she'd taken. Are you in danger? I asked suddenly. What? With this Omar guy? Is he dangerous? She hesitated too long. Alina, yes, controlling. My jaw clenched. Has he hurt you? No, she said quickly. Not physically. That did calm me. Emotionally? I pressed. He does like when I say no. My pulse quickened. Then say it more. It is not that simple. You keep saying that. Because it isn't, she snapped, then immediately softened. I am sorry. The old dynamic crept in the way I pushed for clarity, and she retreated into complexity. Why did you really call me? I asked gently this time. Another long silence. I wanted to hear your voice, she admitted. That simple confession hit harder than anything else she'd said. And I wanted to know if you hate me. I swallowed. I don't hate you. Then what do you feel? I stared at the ceiling, searching for honesty. I feel like I built a future with someone who did stay long enough to see it finished. Her breathing hitched. I did leave because I did love you. Then why? Because loving you felt like choosing a life that scared me. That made my chest ache. You wanted stability, she continued. Marriage, a home, plans. Those aren't crimes. I know, she whispered. But they felt permanent. And I was ready to feel permanent. I let her words settle. So you ran, I said quietly. Yes. And now, I am tired of running. The vulnerability in her voice was real, raw. But vulnerability does erase consequences. What do you want from me, Alina? I don't to know. Do you want me to rescue you? No. Do you want me to wait? No. Do you want closure? I thought I did. And now, I think I want truth. I exhaled slowly. The truth is, I said carefully, I loved you deeply, but I can't compete with ambition, fear, or some powerful man in Dubai. You were never competing, she whispered. It feels like I was. Another silence. Can we meet? She asked suddenly. The question made my heart race. Tonight? Yes. It is 1:40 a.m. I don't care. I looked around my dark apartment, the same walls that had watched her leave. Meeting her now would reopen everything I'd been trying to close. Where are you? I asked. Outside your building. My breath caught. You row what? I've been sitting here for 20 minutes. I stood up and walked to the window slowly. And there it was. A black car parked across the street, headlights off, engine running. Alina. I just need to see you, she whispered. I stayed there, staring at the car. Every instinct told me this was dangerous territory. Emotionally, mentally, but another part of me, the part that still remembered how her hand fit into mine, felt pulled. 5 minutes, I said finally. The relief in her exhale was audible. Thank you. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door, my mind racing. As I stepped outside into the cool night air, the street was quiet. Empty. The back passenger door of the car opened slowly. She stepped out. And for the first time in 6 months, I saw her face again. But she did to look engaged. She looked like someone who had made a decision. And whatever that decision was, I had a feeling it was about to change everything. She looked smaller than I remembered. Not physically, but emotionally. The confidence she used to wear like armor was cracked. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment neither of us moved. 6 months of silence collapsed into the space between us. You look tired, I said quietly. She gave a weak smile. I haven't been sleeping. We stood under the dim streetlight, the night air cool against my skin. Up close I could see the tension in her shoulders, the way her hands trembled slightly before she clasped them together. I shouldn't have left the way I did, she said. No, I agreed. You shouldn't have. She nodded, accepting it. I thought chasing something bigger would make me feel alive, she continued. But I've never felt more trapped. I studied her carefully. Then leave. It is not that simple. It is, I said firmly. You just have to choose yourself. Her eyes filled with emotion. And what if choosing myself means choosing you? The question hit hard. 6 months ago, I would have answered without hesitation. Now I took my time. Alina, I said slowly, when you left, you did to just choose your career. You chose uncertainty over us. You chose fear over commitment. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I was scared of forever. And now I'm scared of losing the only person who ever truly loved me. The honesty in her voice was real. But love isn't just about feelings, it is about decisions. Are you ending it with him? I asked. Yes, she said immediately. I already told him I needed space. He wasn't happy. That worried me. Is he going to cause problems? He might try, but I don't care anymore. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Don't make a decision because you were overwhelmed. Make it because you were sure. I am sure about one thing, she whispered. I don't want a life built on power and pressure. I want peace. And you think I am peace? I know you are. Silence settled again. The truth was, I still loved her. That did disappear just because she left. But love without trust is fragile. If we try again, I said carefully, it won't be the same. I know. There will be boundaries. I understand. And if you ever run again. I won't. I searched her face for doubt. I saw fear. I saw regret. But I also saw something new, clarity. I came tonight ready to let you go, she admitted softly. If you told me to walk away, I would have. Why? Because for the first time, I don't want to control the outcome. I just want the truth. I exhaled slowly. The truth is, I said, I can't promise forever tonight, but I can promise honesty. Her lips trembled into a faint smile. That is all I'm asking. I stepped forward and gently pulled her into my arms. For a second, she stiffened like she did to believe it was real. Then she melted against me, holding on tightly. It was too dramatic. It was too cinematic. It was quiet. Real. After a moment, I pulled back slightly. You'll need to handle Dubai cleanly. No secrets, no hidden strings. I will. And your mom? A small laugh escaped her. She'll probably say, I told you so. I smirked. She tried to test me tonight. I know, Alina said. She told me. Your mother is dangerous. She is protective. We both smiled faintly. So what now? She asked. Now. I said, you go home. You rest. Tomorrow, you start untangling your life. And us? We take it slow. She nodded. For the first time that night, she looked lighter. She stepped back toward the car, then paused. Daniel. Yeah. Thank you for not hating me. I gave her a small, honest smile. Thank you for finally choosing. She got back into the car. The engine hummed softly before the vehicle pulled away, disappearing down the quiet street. I stood there long after the taillights faded. This was a fairy tale ending. It was a second chance. And second chances aren't about passion or impulse. They were about growth. As I walked back into my apartment, I realized something important. When her mother had asked, can we go someplace alone? And I denied it. I was rejecting temptation. I was protecting my future. And tonight, for the first time, it felt like that future might finally be built on something stronger than fear. It might be built on choice,